Welcome back to Amateur Hour Sports. I'm Trent with my co-host Jake. So today we got a huge debate going. We set out all morning. We made a list of the top 5 offenses in the AFC, NFC, and NFL, and we ranked them all by their skill players only. This doesn't include quarterbacks. So no quarterbacks in this, just top running back, 2 receivers, and their top tight end. And this is heavily debated. We've been chatting already about it. So let's get right into it. Jake, let's start off with your top 5 teams in the AFC and based on their skill talent only.
Yeah, so this is my list. It was tough to nail it down to just 5. So I have at number 1, I have Cleveland. Number 2, I have Kansas City. Number 3, I have the Chargers. Number 4, I have Baltimore. And then number 5, I have Tennessee. So just a general how I figured this out is kind of came down to 5 teams from the whole 16 teams on the AFC side. And then we ranked our running back, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and the tight end for each team. So I just want to highlight a few things on my list. Cleveland is number 1. I think they have the most talent on the AFC side, regardless of their issues. They got Chubb, Odell Beckham, Landry, and they just acquired Hooper. I think out of all the NFL, or AFC at least, those 4 are the most talented guys in the whole AFC, just from pure talent, no off the field or anything. And I just want to hit on Kansas City. I think that Hill and Kelsey are the 2 best positional players for their position in the AFC. But I don't think they have as complete of running backs, and their other secondary wide receiver, Hardman, is not he's not as good as the rest of the guys in this list. I want to go down and hit on Baltimore, though. I have Baltimore low because if you really look into their guys, I mean, they don't really have eye-popping, talent. Mm-hmm. I think it's guys that just work in a good system. I think Andrews is the highest ranking guy on their team. So they're positional players in a system. I think that's why they have had success in the past year. And I want to go to Tennessee. Obviously, I ranked Derrick Henry the highest running back, but I think he's really the only guy that is, proven to be, years in the NFL, where they have A.J. Brown and Davis as their receivers, who are just 2 young guys that are coming up. So obviously, we're going to have the graphic up on the screen. I really want to hear what you guys have to say, because this was tough, and it was actually really fun to try to, get it down to this list. So let us know. I want to see Trent's, though. Trent has a better list than me.
Yeah, totally. So I think we have some similarities. However, I think there's one team missing from yours that I'll touch on in a little bit. But let's start off with my number 1, the Cleveland Browns. Like you said, I don't think you can go down this list and say there's another team in the AFC that has a better running back, 2 receivers, and a tight end than the Cleveland Browns. And again, this is excluding quarterbacks, just skill players.
Yeah.
And they just picked up Austin Hooper, which I think will be awesome for them. And they also, I mean, not on this list, but they also have Kareem Hunt and
Njoku.
David Njoku. So it's like, dude, they got some talent up there. Number 3, the Chargers. I love Keenan Allen and I love Mike Williams. I think they're probably the top duo, maybe aside from OBJ and Jarvis Landry. But I think they're extremely underrated, both of them.
Yeah.
And then you throw in Hunter Henry and Austin Eckler, who, like you said, he had almost 1,000 yards receiving last year. So they definitely have a lot of receiving pieces, and we'll see how they mesh without, Melvin Gordon this year. Moving to my number 4, who you didn't have, slightly biased possibly, but I truly believe that the Bills have the 4th ranked skill set in the AFC. I think the addition of Stephon Diggs and John Brown, they are the reason why I have them over my number 5 team, the Titans. I would take Stephon Diggs and John Brown over A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. The Bills receivers are way above where the Titans are.
Yeah.
And that sort of brings me to, I guess, the Titans with Derrick Henry, clearly the best back in the AFC, possibly the NFL. But I don't like Jonnu Smith at tight end. I think Dawson Knox, at least comparing Bills to Tennessee, has more upside than Jonnu Smith does. So we'll see how he does with the more reps and bigger role.
Well, I will put it this way. If I had to say anything, I would say Knox might not be as proven, and Singletary too. They're just because they're rookies. I mean, that doesn't mean like some of these guys are low and they're veterans, but these guys are just lower ranking guys because of, just being rookies and not having any
Yeah.
previous, years. So, that is a fair point for sure.
I didn't think as highly of the Baltimore skill players as you did, because I think when you look at down position to position, I just think it's Lamar Jackson elevating everybody else. Like Mark Ingram, was a number 2 back in New Orleans. I think he's solid, but Hollywood Brown was okay. He had, some games here and there. Willie Snead doesn't really do anything for me. And Mark Andrews, I think, was a beneficiary of having Lamar Jackson at quarterback. But no, it's interesting. That's why we did this, to debate.
Yeah, to defend Ingram, I think that he in New Orleans, I just don't think they utilized his talent well. He wasn't in the system, and your talent, it gets elevated when you're in the right system. So I want to defend him there because he's in a play in an offense right now where he's running like 20 to 30 times a game. And he's downhill, and he's got the dual action quarterback to help him. I know we don't want to involve the quarterback in this, but I really do think that his talent is being elevated, especially in Baltimore. Hunter Henry, he's been injured way too much. I can't rank him that high because he's been injured all that time. And I don't even know who Jonnu Smith is on Tennessee, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So the Bills, it's tough not to, especially I try not to be biased as much.
Yeah.
But I do love Diggs and Brown. I really think that's a good duo. One over the top, one underneath. Yeah. I think that's going to be really hard to stop.
It depends what you value, I guess. Do you value running backs more than receivers? Mm-hmm. Personally, in this, I didn't. I ranked receivers higher. But it depends on your preference. And that's why we want, all you guys to comment below with your top 5 and let us know if we were right or wrong or what you guys think.